Hello everyone, welcome back to Vivid Vidya Edu. Today we will dive into the key factors that led to the pivotal 1857 War of Independence in India. The revolt of 1857 was the first large-scale armed resistance against British rule in India. While the British called it the Sepoy Mutiny, Indian nationalists regarded it as the first war of independence. It started in Meerut on May 10, 1857 and soon spread across North and Central India. Now let's explore this complex web of causes that fueled this uprising. Causes of the revolt. First, we have political causes. The British East India Company's expansionist policies, like the doctrine of lapse, sparked fear and resentment among Indian rulers. The disrespect shown to figures like Bahadur Shah Zafar, the annexation of Awadh, and the unjust treatment of Nana Sahib and Rani Lakshmi Bai further fueled this anger. Essentially, the British were seen as an unwelcome absentee power that disregarded the traditional Indian leadership and governance. Next, let's look at the socio-religious factors. British interference with social customs and traditions, along with the introduction of modern innovations, made many Indians fear for their way of life. Racial discrimination, corruption within the administration, and the oppression of the poor widened the gap between the rulers and the ruled. The activities of Christian missionaries, anxieties about Western education, taxes on religious properties, and changes to traditional laws of property were all perceived as threats to India's culture and religious fabrics. Now, economic causes. Economic grievances also played a crucial role. The exploitation of India's resources, the drain of wealth to Britain, and the decline of local industries and handicraft devastated the Indian economy. The economic hardship faced by peasants, rising unemployment, and the annexation of rent free lands and estates intensified the suffering. The inhuman treatment of indigo cultivators, coupled with widespread poverty and frequent famines, created deep resentment against British economic policies. Now, next we have is military causes. Turning to the military, discontent within the British Indian Army was brewing. The Indian soldiers faced ill treatments and General Service Enlistment Act, which required sepoys to serve anywhere, including overseas, was deeply unpopular, particularly among high castes Hindus. Limited opportunities for promotion, deprivation of allowances, a faulty troop distribution system, and the poor performance of British troops in some conflicts, combined with lower salaries compared to their British counterparts, all contributed to the simmering tensions within the Indian armed forces. Now, we arrive at the immediate triggers. The controversy surrounding the new infield rifle cartridges. These cartridges were allegedly greased with the animal fat, especially from cows and pigs, which was deeply offensive to both Hindus and Muslim sepoys. The requirement to bite off the cartridge before loading ignited widespread outrage and acted as the spark that finally ignited the flames of the 1857 War of Independence. Now let's read the results and effects of First War of Independence. Firstly, it marked the end of the British East India Company's rule. The administration of India was transferred directly to the British Crown, signifying a more direct and stringent control. The Queen Victoria's proclamation in 1858 assured Indians of their rights and privileges and promised no further interference in religious matters. However, this promise was often contradicted by subsequent policies. The war effectively ended the Mughal dynasty with the exile of Bahadur Shah Zafar. It also marked the end of Peshwas, further diminishing the traditional Indian ruling powers. The British adopted a more conciliatory policy towards the princely states, recognizing their autonomy in exchange for allegiance. This created a system of indirect rule and dependence. The British consciously exacerbated existing religious and communal divisions to consolidate their power and prevent future unified uprisings. The war intensified racial bitterness and distrust between the British and the Indian population over racism in administration and social interactions became more pronounced. The Indian Army was reorganized with a significant increase in the proportion of British officers and a reduction in Indian sepoys. This was assigned to minimize the risk of future mutinies. Economic exploitation continued with policies designed to benefit British industries at the expense of Indian economy. Paradoxically, despite its failure, the 1857 war became a potent symbol of resistance against the foreign rule. It fueled the nascent nationalist movement, inspiring future generations to fight for independence. While the war served as an inspiration for nationalists, it also suffered from significant drawbacks that contributed to its ultimate failure. So let's read. The war lacked centralized planning, effective organization, and coherent leadership. The uprisings were often localized and poorly coordinated, hindering a unified resistance. This was a lack of unifying common cause and objectives among the various groups that participated in the uprising. Different leaders fought for different reasons, preventing a consolidated national liberation struggle. The war didn't see the widespread participation of all sections of Indian society. Many remained aloof or even sided with the British, limiting the scope and intensity of the rebellion. The rebels were significantly disadvantaged in terms of resources, weaponry, and military strength compared to the well equipped and highly organized British force. The upbringing was a nationwide movement. Large parts of the country remained unaffected, limiting the challenge to British authority. The premature outbreak of the mutiny before the planned date disrupted any coordinated strategy and caught many potential participants off guard. These were the drawbacks of First War of Independence. The 1857 war was a complex and transformative event in Indian history. While it failed to achieve its immediate objectives, it sowed the seeds of future resistance and ultimately contributed to the long and arduous struggle for Indian independence. Thanks for watching.